Hey guys, well, I said I had another collection coming, and I did. You may not know by just the bag, but this is from Lorelei, Los Angeles. How cute of a bag is it though? I love stuff that's just kind of plain. I'm a very neutral, very simple type person, and I love this bag. So it has her logo here, the LL Lorelei logo, and I love it. So she had a holiday collection come out, so I was excited to get it. She had a eyeshadow palette called the Whimsical Nudes, and she also had a brush collection. It's an 11-piece brush collection. I love her brushes. I use them all the time. Most of them are dirty right now because I use them so much, but this is probably my favorite brush she's ever made, and it's the L11. It's the foundation brush. These are just a bit different because the color of the handle is different, but also the bristles are different. So if mine were clean, I could compare them. They're not clean, so I can't. There's really no comparison right now. The first one she did, they were white bristles on the brush. The second ones had like gray bristles, and these are like brown. So I really love this color. Like I said, I love the nude. Matches the bag really well. So I'll be using these throughout everything today. But the eyeshadow palette I'm very excited about. Yeah, I know I jumped off the deep end buying eyeshadow palettes, and I'm really not sorry about it. This is so pretty. So here is the outer packaging of the actual palette itself. Lorelei Whimsical Nudes. It has like a forest. And then here is the palette. Very nude and just kind of me. She has some greens down here, which of course you know I love because I love greens. But I just love this palette, and it's just so beautiful. I will say, when I first saw just photos and all that, I thought that looks like a KKW palette. Of course KKW is no longer a beauty brand, but this just reminded me of a KKW palette. So I love the shades in here. She has 5 mattes, 5 shimmers. It just looks beautiful, so I can't wait to play with it. Here are the first 5 shades swatched. This first shade it'll be a little bit harder to see, but it is there. It's called Cloud Blossom, Manny, Sandshell, Golden Blaze, and Cedar Rose is the last one. Very beautiful. There's only 1 shimmer. Wait a minute, 2. 2 shimmers in this one. So this first one, Manny, is really beautiful. It has like some silver reflex in there, but it's kind of golden and almost kind of a rosy gold. Really beautiful. And then this one is an orangey. Golden Blaze is really a good name for this one because it really is golden reflex and really beautiful. Here's the bottom row swatch. These shimmers feel so smooth. They are just amazing. I can't talk. This first shade here is called Erin, Sweet Willow, Bronze Meadow, Winter Fern, and Moonless. These shimmers, oh my gosh, oh, so pretty. They look like a cream shadow. They're that smooth. And after playing with the Huda Beauty palette, which I loved, and I love the shades and everything, I am such a fan of a smooth shimmer. If you hear my husband walking around, I apologize. I'm going to use the Alamar Cosmetics Pero Primero Primer. I'll just squeeze a little bit on my hand here, and then just buff it on the eye. I will use her brushes in just a second. So she has 4 eye brushes in this collection. One is the L36. It's a huge blending brush, and I love big blending brushes like this. Even though I have hooded eyes, sometimes I like to really disperse the transition shade in there. And then there is the L38, which is a packer brush, and I like to pack on color, especially in this outer corner. And then there's a smaller L39. for packing, so that can go good for the inner corner. And then there's this like smudger brush, which is an L40, that can go good for smudging liner on top or bottom, or even inner corner work. It's perfect. So I really love these brushes. I think they're great. She did focus more on eye brushes her first collection, and even more in her second collection, I think, than this. This one is more heavy, I guess, on face brushes, but I still really like these. So I think I'm going to take this shade right here, which is called Sandshell, on the L36, and I'm just going to blend that through the crease. Blended it beautifully, got it on there great. It is kind of a yellowy shade, but I saw that when I swatched it, so I wasn't surprised there. I'm going to take this packer brush, and I'm going to go in with this shade here called Cedar Rose. And I'm just going to kind of put that a little bit more into the crease, just to kind of deepen that crease. And then with no extra product, I'm just going to blend with this first brush. So next, I'm going to take this green shade, because I can't not play with the greens. It's called Winter Fern, and I'm going to take it on that same brush. I did get most of the Cedar Rose shade off of it, but I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in this outer corner, and I'm going to concentrate it to the outer corner. A lot of times what I like to do, because my eyes are getting older and they're moving, the skin likes to move a little bit more. When any kind of brush that I do this with, I like to just like set it in one spot and then kind of just move it in circles. Instead of moving big circles, I just kind of move it in that one spot, and that helps me blend. And I found that that works for me. If I need to move it to another place to blend, I'll pick it up, move it, and still do the same thing. That shade's super pigmented. And then again, no extra product. I'm just going to blend. Then with my L39, which is the smaller packer brush, I'm going to go in with Bronze Meadow. And just lay that right next to that. And then I kind of clean that brush off, and I'm going to go into Sweet Willow right here. And that's going almost all the way in. I'm going to leave a little bit on the inner portion. Okay, and then the smallest brush, which is an L40, I think I'm going to take Manny right here. And that's going on the inner portion. And there is the look we're gonna go with. So I have a couple of these brushes that aren't super dirty. I'm gonna show you. This was from her very first collection, I do believe. So this was the L19, which is very similar to the L39. The bristles are a bit different, but you can see. And then you can also see the shade difference. These were more of a lighter nude, and these are a little bit deeper nude, more brown in this set. And then the bristles, although you can't tell with my dirty one, because I love this brush so much, the L19 is probably one I reach for quite a bit. They were white bristles on this one. And then her second set that she came out with was this shade here. And these were the ones that were closest to me, that's why I grabbed them. So just a little bit different of a nude. Like these are more creamy nude, these are more like almost pinky nude. And then the brown nude. But here is the difference between these the last set she came out with, and then this set, as far as shade goes. But I am going to use this, which is the L29 from her last set, and I use this quite often actually, and I love this brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of Moonless on the liner end of this. And you guessed it, I'm going to do a little bit of a wing. I just like to do that because I feel like it really does lift my eye. And that's why I do it. So far, I love this palette. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And I can't wait to play with more of the top row, like nudes. And yeah, I really love this. Okay, so I'm going to put my foundation on with the L11. I love this brush. And I'm going to use the Sephora Best Skin Ever. I've been trying this out a little bit more. I still don't have the, like, final results or thoughts or whatever, but I'm still trying it. So it's not horrible, like I said. It's just, I feel like I end up using more product. That's kind of my holdup with it right now. And I've used it with different primers and different applicators and a sponge and a brush and all that stuff. So I know it's not this particular brush. It's just like, I'm just not crazy about it. But anyway, back to this brush. Love this brush. It's a little bit more soft than her other brushes. The very first one she came out with, very much more stiff than this one, but I like this. I like it a lot. It's not too flimsy. And I use the Glowish primer. I don't know if I said that. Anyway, I'm going to use the Best Skin Ever concealer. Not crazy about the shade on this either. That could be why I'm not loving it. I'm just going to use this same brush. Still just not my favorite. It's okay. I'm going to use the Rare Beauty stick bronzer. And I'm going to use this like buffing brush that's L34. I really like this. I feel like it really buffed everything out super quick and very nice. I like it a lot. This is the ColourPop Count Me In blush that I just got not long ago. So I'm going to use that with the stippling brush, which I've never used a stippling brush before, so we shall see. But it is an L32, so I'm just going to wash it in there. It's very neat how that feels on the skin. She also said you could use it if you wanted to put your foundation on with this, you wanted like a lighter coverage, you could do that. So neat. Okay, then I'm going to use the e.l.f. Halo Glow setting powder. I'm going to use the L33, and I'm actually, before I use the Halo Glow, I'm going to use a little bit of the Charlotte Tilbury powder just under my eyes. Maybe that concealer will stay in place because it's creasing majorly. And just about any concealer will crease on me, so I'm not going to hold that against it. Now I'm using Halo Glow. I like this brush, but I like her bigger one better for all over powder. It's really good, but this is really nice and soft, and it actually fits well under the eye, even though it's larger. And I do like it, so I could do under the eye and maybe the T-zone. So, very good. So, I'm going to use the Jaclyn bronzer in Vitamin D. I look awful with my hair behind my ears, but oh well. And I'm going to use this new brush, which I'm very excited for. I think this might be the one I'm most excited for. It is the L31, so it's kind of angled for contour. I'm very excited. Pretty sure you guys have heard me talk about this before, but I was in a car accident years ago, and my back has never been the same. And so when I go to this side, my back kind of limits my range of motion on that side, and so I end up not getting as good of a contour or bronze or whatever on that side. And so just like now, I feel like I'm not doing as well, but I like a brush that kind of helps with that. I really like this brush. It disperses the product really nicely, and then I can just kind of like fluff it on, and it goes on very nicely. Very pretty. Like it a lot. And I might even use it to put on a little blush. Why not? So I'm going to take the Blush Aesthetic palette and maybe take a little bit of this and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And because these brushes are a little bit softer for the face, I really like that, because then I can't go in too heavy-handed with a product. It'll take me a minute, and I like that. And then she also has this brush here, which you can do for under the eye powder or for highlight, and I'm going to use it for highlight today. It is the L35. And I'm just going to take the Golden Haze highlight out of her palette. Okay, and let's finish these eyes. I'm going to take Winter Fern, and I'm going to take that about a third of the way in. Then I'm going to take this shade here called Sandshell on the L39 and just kind of buff that here. I may take a little bit of Cedar Rose. Then I'm going to take the small brush, the L40, and I'm going to take a little bit of Manny, that's that inner corner shade that I used, and I'm going to put it on the inner part here. I'm going to go ahead and take that same highlighter I put on my face, put on the brow bone. So I went ahead and finished up. I put on the NYX Epic Wear liner in, I was trying to say, oh, All Time Olive in my waterline, and then I put on the Lancome Mr. Big mascara. I always butcher that name. And then for lips, I went a little different than I normally do. I put on Show Off from Laura Los Angeles, and then I put Nakey Nakey over top of it to kind of tone it down so that it wasn't super deep. And I kind of like this combination, especially for like fall, winter. I missed a brush somehow. This is a smaller blending brush. It is the L37. I didn't use this, but I should have. It would have been great for that crease work. However, I feel like it turned out okay. So it would have been a great brush. Whoops, I just threw it on the floor. My favorite probably is this brush. I just really like how it really just fits right there, and I can get in the contours, and then I can also put my cheek color on with it too. So very, very pretty. And then if you get a little much, you can always tone it down. There you go. But I love these brushes. I think they're great. I can't wait to use them more. The palette I love. This is like a color story that I just gravitate toward all the time. It's something that I will use quite a bit. I see myself reaching for this even over my Huda Beauty. Had I known about this before I ordered from Huda, I may not have ordered Huda's. Not because there's a huge similarity, but because I'm not crazy about my Huda palette. I don't know. I think it's the fallout from that palette. I love everything, but there's a lot of fallout from the Huda palette. With this one, I had basically no fallout. There may have been just a little tiny bit, but it was virtually not there. So I really love this, and I think that it's great, and I think it's a wonderful palette, especially for the fall winter season. And I think it's just a great palette all the way around. I love palettes about this size. They're not too overwhelming when you look at them and you're like, oh, what should I do? And it's a great size palette. So I've always loved Laura Los Angeles. I have pretty much all of her palettes except for like the earlier ones. But here, I think everything that she sells currently I have. I love her aesthetic and everything. I love it. She is one of the more underrated brands, especially the indie brands out there. I think that she is probably one of my favorites. Have you tried the palette? Would you want to try the palette? For some reason, I'm feeling like The palette was like $36. I don't know. But for everything, I paid 70 something. And I didn't think that was a bad cost at all, because Huda's palettes are like 70. Huda's palettes are 67. I was going to say 76. But they're like 67. So, yeah, you get more shades, but still, I mean, look at all I got. Brushes and everything. So, I'm very pleased, and I really, really enjoy it. So, look on Laura Lee's site. I will tag it down below, and just check out what she's got and see if there's anything that might interest you. Nudie number 2 is one of my favorites. I love Nudie Patootie. I love everything. I wouldn't recommend everything. I have most of her liquid lips. I have both of her glosses, I think. So I just really enjoy her brand. So check it out if you haven't. I think it's a really great priced brand and a very great quality of a brand too. So since I can't talk, I'm gonna go ahead and end this. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you are staying safe, happy, and healthy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.